going ahead into the Build-A-Figure piece, we got Cosmo. Cosmo here, we've seen them in the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, and I'm assuming we're gonna be seeing them again in this movie. Cosmo was the Build-A-Figure piece. I can't tell you exactly which Build-A-Figure came with which. The only one I know from the top of my head is that this one's from Rocket the body, and this leg is from Gamora, just because I know I had to get 2 of them since the leg didn't come originally. Overall, I do like the design of Cosmo. I actually think that this one should have been like a separate figure, like a little deluxe one for like $15. I don't think this was worth the price point for a Build-A-Figure. I think the actual Groot one would have been a better Build-A-Figure than the deluxe figure. But let's go ahead and jump into this. I'll get into more details about Cosmo, and then we'll go ahead and talk about the figure overall. Always moving Cosmo to the right so we can put a picture showing Cosmo off in movies. This one I'm going to be using from the Guardians special, showing Cosmo off. I think the design, I want to say, is pretty spot on. To actually just take a look at Cosmo, you can see they are in that little spacesuit with the helmet. This part can close, open and close, but it doesn't really cause any difference. It's not meant to be closed. Overall, I do like the design of it. I'm glad that Hasbro is giving us something kind of unique. I don't think we've ever had a animal figure like this where it's just the dog. I know we've had like kind of statue-ish ones, like the little Rocket or the old Rocket ones that we've seen, but I don't think we've had anything like this where it's an actual movable, you know, piece of a animal. Unfortunately, Cosmo doesn't come with any kind of accessories, anything like that. I would have liked a separate helmet piece, one that you can probably clip this one off and it'd be a closed one, but unfortunately they don't give you anything like that. Or maybe a different like barking one when making, like, you can have Cosmo barking, but unfortunately we didn't get that. Articulation wise, you can move the head up and down inside the helmet itself, and then with the mask part you can go ahead and move this, but it doesn't do much. With the legs, the front legs, you can go ahead and move them back and forth. They bend right here. It's a little hard, to be honest. See, and bend them back. With the legs, they also bend here and also at the foot. With the body, you can go ahead and twist them like that. With the back legs, they move here, they bend there, and there. With the tail, you can go ahead and sway it back and forth, pivot down, pivot up. Overall, the articulation is not bad, but it's not the best either. I see what they were doing. It's an animal. It's kind of hard to be able to do much with it than what they did in this figure. Overall, I do think it's pretty nice. I like the design. I like keeping Cosmo in that kind of walking position, like they're walking towards you, but the articulation is pretty well for animal wise, and in the design of it, it's really good. Could have this changeable heads, I think, would have been the best thing for the figure to make the Build-A-Figure worth the price that it was, you know, for collecting, what is that, 6 figures, 7 figures, can't remember from the top of my head. But this is Cosmo, the Build-A-Figure. We'll go ahead and do a size comparison and see what you guys think. Size comparison, we'll bring in Rocket, showing you how big Rocket is compared to Cosmo, and Rocket's a little bit on the short side. I would have actually expected Rocket to be a little bit bigger compared to Cosmo, and then we'll also bring in Star-Lord himself. I actually think that these two work really well, but with Rocket, I do think Cosmo's a little bit on the big side for a dog. I think he probably should have been a little bit smaller, but I understand that could have been a bit hard with actually making the Build-A-Figure smaller with the pieces. And even then, I can imagine how people would have felt if the Build-A-Figure was smaller and it cost so much. But overall, the size comparison, Cosmo is a little bit big, or they could have made Rocket just a little bit bigger and Cosmo a little bit smaller. I think it would have worked out fine, but this is a size comparison between the 3 of them. Final thoughts on Cosmo. It is a good figure. I'm glad to have it. It adds depth to the Guardians and just my shelves in general, since they don't release many animal figures in general. I don't think that this should have been the builder figure. I think this should have just been a kind of deluxe figure for $10-15, or a 2-pack probably with Rocket. I think would have been a little bit better out of around like the $40, $30 point. I think would have made sense to do a builder figure like this, or a figure like this, rather than making it the whole builder figure for a wave. I do think that the Deluxe Groot that I'm going to be reviewing next will be actually a lot better than this one. I think they should have done this one in a 2-pack. Overall, though, I'm so glad to have it. I think Cosmo looks great. It's a fun little addition to have in your collection. I love having Cosmo like and next to my guardians, making them walk. Overall, if you did collect all the figures, Cosmo's a great piece to go ahead and have. I do know he's going to go up in price. So if one thing about you is if you're hesitant about picking up Cosmo, even if you're not too sure you want it, I would recommend getting them still, because I do know about a year or so this figure is going to skyrocket. It's going to be one of the few animals that we do have in line and in scale with our figures. So this is going to probably jump up in price in due time. But overall, this is the Cosmo review. Let me know what you think of the figure itself. If you think it was worth the builder figure, or you think it should have been in the 2-pack like I mentioned. Let me know what your thoughts about the figure itself. If you think we should have gotten interchangeable heads or anything like that, or if you think we'll ever get a re-release of Cosmo with the interchangeable heads, or something similar like I said before with Rocket. Once again, I do want to thank you if you have watching up to this point. I always do appreciate your feedback in the comments down below. Like, subscribe, let me know what you thought of this video, and y'all take care today.